Good afternoon. Phil Lindeman with your Krystal 93 News from Mountain Comfort Furnishings and Design. This past winter was the busiest in history for winter recreation at Vail Pass, an estimated 58,000 people. That's 21,000 more in just under a decade, 9,000 more than the previous record in 2018-2019. So what happened up there at Vail Pass? Here's U.S. Forest Ranger Ann Gasper.
We fill up and turn people away on the weekends, and that's been par for the course for the last 15 years. And now I think it's just the uptick in the midweek use.
Most of that new traffic, she says, was coming from day trips. And they've now got enough rangers to actually enforce payment.
We can only park so many people in the parking lot on a given day. So it may seem super crazy in the parking lot, but once you get out 55,000 acres, you kind of have a lot of space.
There were also more guided trips than ever. But those numbers are easier to predict.
Every outfitter is allotted a certain amount of days every year, and it's pretty regulated, and it has to do with capacity analysis and studies that have been done in the past.
Gasper says a delayed remodel at the Vail Pass rest area should help with the biggest choke point, parking.
It won't necessarily increase the capacity, but it should really improve the flow of traffic.
That remodel should be ready by next winter. This January has been one of the slowest peak season months in several years on I-70. Fewer than 500,000 cars traveled the tunnels weekends only. That is slower than 9 of 12 months last year. To blame are those back-to-back weekends with snow and road closures. Since the storm, the past 2 weeks have been the busiest of ski season. Town of Dillon is interested in buying 2 new apartments for employee housing, and they're right next door to the Krystal Studios. Those 2 apartments are inside the old consignment shop at Wilderness Sports. It was recently converted by one of the owners at that long-gone gear shop. The town's paying $1.15 million for both. Today is election day for the new town of Keystone. Results should be ready by 8 tonight. We will have them for you by tomorrow morning. Every other local town has a municipal election April 2nd. Over a dozen council seats are up for grabs, including the mayor seats in Breckenridge and Frisco. Silverthorne is adding a pair of tax questions to its ballot, raising the lodging rate and borrowing millions for locals' housing. Ballots for those elections will go out in March. Today, we are in the classroom at the Peak School.
My name is Liz Roush, and I have a few titles here. I am our academic dean, our college counselor, our registrar, and I also teach a sustainability class.
She wears a lot of hats. It comes with experience.
This is my 10th year, so almost since the beginning of the school.
This year's senior class is small, just 4 students, from as far as Switzerland and Ukraine.
The Peak School senior year program is pretty unique in the sense that our seniors are not on campus full-time in the third quarter, and they are off pursuing their passion projects.
One senior wants this.
Her passion is to be a doctor.
Another, this.
She is really interested in architecture.
Another just loves playing outside. And that's where Mrs. Roush steps in.
So he's looking at, outdoor education and adventure and outdoor therapy as a way to engage people with the natural world.
She fully supports the Peak School approach, living your passion.
Learning doesn't happen in a silo. It needs to be connected to the community you're in, because when you're in the real world, quote unquote, you don't just spend time on math and then read your literature book and then, things are happening all together.
Thanks again for going in the classroom, proudly presented by Heavenly Times Hot Tubs and Billiards and the Summit Foundation Bright Futures Fund. And in local sports, this morning was race 5 of the A-Basin Rise and Shine Rando series, where Jill Seeger and Jonathan Modig won the titles. Rounding out your podiums were Kate Zander, Allison Rudy, Tate Knight, and Jason McGowan. In preps tonight, Summit High Boys basketball is playing Northfield at home. Phil Lindeman, Krystal 93 News.